I actually need to know what's going on now. And then it was really embarrassing having to ask my colleagues and various other people. Hey sailors, welcome back to Cruising as Crew. My name is Lucy and today we're going to be talking about safety drills on board a cruise ship. Why we do them, what you learn in them, what you need to wear to a crew drill. We're going to discuss everything. But before we start, please press like and subscribe for more cruise ship content. And if you have any video suggestions, then please let me know in the comments down below, or you can DM me over on Instagram at Cruising as Crew. But as for now, let's get into this video. So when you work on a cruise ship, you have two jobs. You have the job that you are hired to do, that you are paid to do, whether that is a beauty therapist, a shop assistant, a captain, a housekeeper. You get the gist. And then you have your safety role. And if I'm honest, it's more important that you understand your safety role than your actual job, unless you're the captain. But if you're a beauty therapist, if you don't understand your job, then no lives are going to be in danger. No one is going to die from not getting the right type of massage. However, if you don't understand your safety role, people could potentially be in a bit of a sticky wicket. So it is really, really important that you take the time to understand exactly what your job is if the ship goes into a state of emergency. One of the first things that you will be shown is your emergency station, where your lifeboat is, and you will be told what your duty is in an emergency. So maybe you are guiding people down the stairs, so if passengers are coming down the stairs, you're telling them where to go. Maybe you are just there to keep people calm. Maybe you have to check people in. There are so many different emergency roles, but this is one of the first things that you will be told. And then you will practice this once or twice a week in a crew drill. So firstly, how often will you have to do a crew drill when you work on board a cruise ship? By law, the cruise ship has to conduct a crew drill once a week. However, this alternates between a full drill and a partial drill. So partial is just deck and tech crew. So for everyone else, part of the hotel team, you will most likely do a drill once every 2 weeks. However, some cruise ships will want to do full drills once a week, so you could be doing a drill every single week, or you could be doing it once every fortnight. Along with crew drills, you will also have guest drills. So on embarkation day, you will always have a passenger drill. Guests get on board, and just before the ship sets sail, all the passengers will have to go to their emergency stations so that everyone knows what they have to do if the ship goes into a state of emergency. So for example, when I was on P&O Oceania and we had embarkation day every Thursday, I would have a passenger drill, and then on one of the port days, I would have just a crew drill. But that was obviously alternating weeks. Do drills cut into your off time? The answer is yes. So drills are absolutely mandatory. So whether you are at work or whether you are off, like off work, you will have to attend a drill. So let's say you are a housekeeper, you will work most mornings, but you will have to stop work to be able to attend the drill. Whereas I am a shoppy, so I was usually off most mornings, but it just meant that I couldn't actually get off and start exploring the ports until the drill was over because I had to attend. The only way that you can get out of going to drill is if you are so ill that you cannot get out of bed. What do you actually do in drills? So if you have a full crew drill, what will happen is you are going to reenact an emergency scenario. So maybe we are pretending there's a galley fire, the ship is sinking, maybe we've run aground, maybe a bomb's been found on board, maybe piracy. So all of these different emergency scenarios we're going to reenact so that if this situation actually happens in real life, we all know what to do because we've played the part before. Can you ask questions in a drill? Absolutely. So obviously when you first get on board, there is so much information to take in, and crew drills and all the safety procedures can be really, really overwhelming. And the only way that you are going to understand what the hell you are doing is by asking questions. And sometimes people are too shy to ask because they're like, maybe I should already know this, or everyone looks really serious, I don't want to be the only one that doesn't know it. But everyone knows if you're new to sea, you're not gonna know these safety procedures. But you have to remember, the only people who really know that you are new on board is people in your department, people that you're working with. People from other departments just see you as a new face, but they don't know if you've done a contract before, they don't know if this is your first contract. So no one's going to come up to you and say, hey, do you know what's going on? Because they don't want to insult you, and quite frankly, they don't have time to go around everyone making sure they know everything. So if you don't know what's going on, it is your responsibility to ask the questions. Everyone will be more than happy to answer whatever question you have. They want you to ask questions because they want you to know what's going on. Because otherwise what happens is you get people who are 3 months into their contract and they still don't have any idea what's going on. And I tell you what, it's a lot less embarrassing to admit you have no idea what's going on, but you got on board 2 days ago, than I have no idea what's going on, but I have actually been on board for 3 months. And I've done it. I did it on my first contract. I was a few months in and there was going to be an inspection where people come on board and basically watch the ship conduct a crew drill and make sure that the crew know what's going on. So then I was like, oh, I actually need to know what's going on now. And then it was really embarrassing having to ask my colleagues and various other people, can you just explain to me what's going on? Because obviously at that point they're like, you've been on board for ages, why don't you know this? I'm like, because I never asked the questions. And a crew drill is the perfect time to ask these questions because it's the one time of the week where everyone is thinking about safety guidelines, safety of the ships. And also, if you ask someone a question and they don't have the answer, you're in an environment where you're going to be able to find someone who does know the answer. Whereas if you're just, asking someone in the mess over lunch and they say, I don't know, it's like, okay, well, that's the end of that conversation. So make sure you ask these questions when you are doing a crew drill. Why is it so important to do crew drills? This is a bit of an obvious question, but it's because if something goes wrong and you don't know what to do, you go into panic mode. It's human nature. However, if something happens and you're like, I know how to handle this, it stops that panic reaction. And because we do drills so often and reenact different scenarios, if something did happen, did come to light, the crew would know exactly how to handle it. So it stops the crew panicking, which ensures that they can stop the guests panicking. If everyone's panicking, then we're screwed. And also, when you go into panic mode, you tend to forget everything that you've learnt. So you need to make sure that you do it enough so that it's second nature, so that you don't even have to think about what you're doing. You do it so often that it's habit. That's why it's important to do crew drills. So I'm going to give you a list of questions that you should ask when you first get on board a cruise ship and you're doing your first all crew drill. You should ask, where is the nearest telephone? Where are all the spare life jackets stowed? What do I do if I find a lost child or parents come up to me and say that they have lost their child? How do I handle that situation? Where is my backup emergency station? So let's say there was a fire and the fire just happens to be in your emergency station where you would go if shit hit the fan. Well, what do you do then? There's always going to be a secondary emergency station and you need to know where that is. What am I actually doing? What is my job? Because you might be in a muster station and there'll be loads of other crew members doing different things. Maybe it just seems like they're standing around, but it's really important that you ask the muster station leader, what is my job? What am I here to do? You need to fully understand your role. And like I said, if you've just gone on board, that question is completely okay to ask. What's the number for the bridge? What's the number for muster control? And how do I get hold of the doctor in an emergency? So those are just some of the questions that I would recommend asking your muster station leader or anyone who is in your emergency station. They will hopefully know the answer to, because you really do need to know the answer to those questions especially. But if any of you watching can think of any other questions that people should ask when they first join and do their first all crew drill, then please put them down in the comments so everyone can benefit from it. What do you wear to an all crew drill? I don't care whether you are in the Caribbean, I don't care whether you are in Alaska, wherever the ship is, you have to wear warm clothing to the drill. So I always go in like leggings or joggers. I wear my trainers. You go in a t-shirt and you make sure that you take a hoodie or a jacket. The reason is, let's say absolute worst case scenario, real emergency, and you have to abandon ship and get into the lifeboat. You don't know how long you're going to be waiting in that lifeboat, and the Caribbean is really hot in the day, but it goes pretty chilly in the evening. So you always need to make sure that you take warm clothing with you. And once again, the reason you have to wear warm clothing to drill, even though it's not real, is to get in that habit, because when you go into panic mode, you stop thinking logically. So you need to make it a habit that you pick up warm clothing when you're going to your emergency station. So if it's a drill, you can just wear a t-shirt and make sure that you put a hoodie on top. However, if it's a real emergency, you want to be wearing a vest, you want to be wearing tights under your leggings, you want to be grabbing a hoodie and a hat. You want to get all the warm clothing you can. But anyway guys, I really hope you've enjoyed that video about crew drills on board a cruise ship. If you have, please let me know in the comments and hit that like button and that subscribe button, because it really helps me out with the algorithm. And also, if you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments, or you can DM me over on Instagram at Cruising as Crew. But I hope you have a really good day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!